Got anything? Asked Ruby. Hey, Ruby, could you wait just a little bit until I do the title of the chapter? Look, we've been doing this for over 2 months now. If they don't know the title of the fic, I think they need new glasses. But it's clever that it is, and we got to. I mean, my little pirate. The mood's lost. Betrayal. Starlight knitted her brow, straining her focus on the dull stone in front of her. Well, you see, here's what I got. The pony characters have no point in this story. We have done Dilly Squad. The main six, according to the script, have done absolutely nothing of importance during the past 2 arcs. It's getting to the point where you're trying to figure out why are they doing a One Piece and MLP crossover if the MLP side barely factors as a story. It glimmered in tan color for a brief moment, but quickly returned to a gray hue. Starlight gasped for breath while a few drops of sweat dripped from her muzzle. Ugh! Feels like there's something blocking the stone. But it feels like Celestia's near Luffy. Starlight's face slightly tightened, and it changed like queen. It's like a story you know is being told, but you can't see or hear it. Ruby said with a grin. She spun out and trotted over to the door. Boring! I'm with Ruby on this. Time for an intermission. She left Starlight behind and happily skipped through the halls of the castle. Bathroom. Oof! In the midst of her quest, Ruby had failed to notice that she was on a collision path with another pony. Both of them wound up in a tangle of limbs, but quickly helped each other out. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I was just looking for the little filly's room when the castle's really big and confusing and I... Quite alright. He chuckled while he dusted off his cloak with his right foreleg. You're about the right size for this place being big. Speaking of which, will you happen to know where Princess Celestia is? Oh. Piggy's lips curled up into an anxious expression. She's a bit busy right now, but I'm a super duper friend of hers, so I can take a message. How about... The pony scratched at his head. Princess Luan, was it? So hard to get the names right. Yes, it's so hard to get the names of Sun and Moon correct. Sure, Ruby replied. It's Princess Luna, by the way, but every pony makes mistakes. Mind me asking what you're here for? Catch up. Spreading the news, asking for favors. Usual things visitors do with royalty. You're funny. A weirdo. No, Ruby scratched her head. You're the first non-guard pony I've seen for a while. So, what did he look like? Who is it? Is it Horwitz? Fancy Pants? Requisite cameo? Hello, no, I'm already gone, thank you very much. Cheese sandwich? Last century? A little description would be nice. So that way we could actually gasp and shock it all about who it is that bumped into Pinky. Right now, for all we know, Pinky just bumped into a random newspaper pony. What the hell is this? A man stuttered. His sentiments echoed in the murmurs of thousands of people around them. Pirates and Marines clasped across several screens in front of a crowd. That must have been expected with the execution of Portuguese to the east, even though Whitebeard's ferocity still caused the inhabitants of the Saboti archipelago. Oh my god, it's been, 40-something chapters, and you still can't spell Saboti right? The shaken fear. The arrival of a battleship from the above ward drew surprised reactions, and hardened faces of criminals, terrorists, and pirates thought forever locked up made those watching the events play out collectively gasp. Then the black creatures were spotted. Unknown to the likes of man, the hybrid form of pony and bug brought disgust and confusion to the viewers. It was quickly turned to a crippling fear when the beasts descended on the war, sinking their fangs into pirate and marine alike. What was left of their victims were emancipated bodies with blank eyes that stared out into nothing. I heard impaled down was hell, but not literally. What monster could do three of those things? But you need to take both sides. It's retribution for fighting Green Whitebeard. He's summoned an army of demons. It's the marine super weapon. Suddenly, the screens of the archipelago went blank, and the war, confusion, and anger turned deafening. A new cry went up along with fingers pointing at a single screen. The grand battle still played in the background, but the camera's focus was on an individual with his back to the camera. Trixie cannot believe she is doing this, said a voice from the lone screen. Damn it! The man spun around, revealing his bulbous nose, facial faces. This is gonna be a great shot! You saw how they turned out the rest of the snails? Hey? Everyone asked, watching out. Ha! A balding man yelled as he brought lightning bait down on a marine. The man took a brief pause between the fights to look back. Behind him, a pirate was face to teeth akin to a walrus was approaching. Elswin, I thought you were with your men. Elswin suddenly red squared, opening up his mouth to show that all his teeth were now razor fangs. Squard raised up his sword, but not fast enough to fully block the flames. However, a massive fist, glowing blazing red, stabbed at the imposter Icewind. First, his disguise peeled off, feeling the jet shell underneath. Then the fist swallowed it up, leaving nothing behind but intense heat. Fist pulled back, struck to normal size, and returned to a human color. Its owner stepped towards Squard. Traitors everywhere, it seems. Chrysalis continued to cackle. She raised her blood-soaked arm and licked the lips of her new hand. Oh, this is more fun than beating you in one blast. Celestia grunted. Her bleeding torso shifted back to a pony's barrel for an instant, then back to human form, minus the puncture wound. Discord liked to warm up with attacks like that. You should have saved a surprise move like that. She pointed her sword's tip at Chrysalis. Example? Sunspot. A medium-sized yellow ball convulsed and turned brown and black, certain areas that raced out with a sword at Chrysalis. She raised up her jagged blade and readied herself to parry the attack. Yes! Celestia, the glowing ball really is a surprise. A great force wrenched Chrysalis's weapons out of her hand, and into the tiny ball, which was now pure white. The blade sizzled upon impact, and Chrysalis nearly choked down a gasp where C2 was pulling the ball. Her dress caught a flame where it came into contact, eliciting out a piercing scream. Celestia fled to Chrysalis' side in the air, but cautiously kept her distance. The surprise was that was a miniature white dwarf. Did you really think I would call out my attack? Ah! Chrysalis snatched at the spear and brought all her strength down on it. It crackled, dissipated in a blaze of heat. She coughed up the smoke and fell to the ground with her sword clattering next to her. Celestia glided down, paced over to Chrysalis, while slowly raising her blade. That sword is still a part of your body. I would have thought a changeling would know the risk of taking on a different appearance. Yes, we do, Chrysalis muttered. My first big role in these type of stories, and I'm getting my butt handed to me by Celestia. I need a new agent. Her left hand shot up and fired a blast of magic at Celestia, sending her some distance away. Old Fang grinned as Chrysalis attempted to get up, but started to collapse to the ground. Her arms and stomach smoked and showed off their original black forms. I need energy. She breathed deeply and started the residual emotions in the air, repeatedly coughing as she choked down her bloodlust. Her skin and dress slowly crept back over her chitlin, but this only made her huff in frustration. No, I need more. A sniff of the air made her eyes lit up. Massive anxiety emanated from the execution platform. Intense camaraderie lured the battlefield, and a powerful fraternal bond came from the great ship in the center of the icy field. Chrysalis cursed that she couldn't devour the final emotion immediately, but was impressed by the equally strong affection standing right next to her future feast. Switching back to the physical spectrum, the source of the... Okay, I just saw in my head the colors of the Green Lantern Corps. The source of the affection matches the muzzle depth and physical size. On the other side of the ice, Celestia found herself in a small crater with frozen turf piled up around her. Green flames danced around her in a barrier, and a few parts of her swore from the impact. But she was relatively unscathed. She quickly got back to her feet and braced herself for another attack at Chrysalis. Oh, crocodile. Join the war. Celestia spun around with her sword ready to strike at the slimy voice. A puff of dead cigar smoke struck her in the face, which she quickly dissipated with a flap of her wings. She sharpened her eyes to the sight of her former colleague, knowing the bleeding wound on his head. Crocodile. With Chrysalis free, I shouldn't be surprised Straw Hat let you out too. You'd be impressed by his ability to screw up plans. Crocodile pauses and inhales a more smoke from his cigar. First alabaster from me. And now, taking out Whitebeard. Wait. Celestia's eyes veered to the Moby Dick, where two figures were prominently stood at the masthead. People shrank at the sight of the winged object standing right at Whitebeard. The Tartarus! She took off the blinding speeds, showering Crocodile with his eyes, and extinguishing his cigar to much of his annoyance. Well, I'm so glad we had that bit of interaction. I'm so glad we actually had this chance to see Celestia and Crocodile talk to each other. Two great chess masters at the same time. Why wouldn't I want to see a good confrontation between that? Celestia looked behind and raced up to the Moby Dick's masthead and raised her blade. Golden magic and emerald flames flew off of her, and Chrysalis' blade stayed crossed. Every time! Chrysalis roared and pushed hard with her sword. You deny me my food every... A punch to the face silenced Chrysalis and sent her careening to another part of the war. Luffy retracted his fist and shook his slightly red hand. Man, she's tough for a bug! I'll berate you for your idiocy later, Celestia grumbled. Her right hand glowed and her weapon struck down to a tiny orb of light. Once it turned, gave way to a small iron key. She chucked it out to Luffy, who caught it in midair. That should get the cuff off some fire fists. Now go! Thanks! Luffy gripped the edge of the boat, flung himself into the fray, leaving Celestia alone with Whitebeard. Glad I waited before you smashing you and that other thing. Whitebeard chuckled. Now what will you do? Hope either your crew or Straw Hat get the fire fists and get out of here. But for now, Celestia resummoned her claymore, casually swinging at Whitebeard, who easily dodged. I need you to knock me off this ship. Whitebeard gave a hearty laugh and picked up his bicenta. Ha! If only the other warlords were just easy to deal with. Once this is over, we'll drink to celebrate Ace's freedom. Just hurry and hit! Chrysalis tackled Celestia from the side, knocking her claymore out of her hands, and sending both of them barreling into the heat of the fight. Marines and pirates were blown away, some hit by Celestia's ritual sizzle magic, while others were consumed by Chrysalis' supernatural flame. Chrysalis continued driving into Celestia's side, a grin while Darius' dress stitched back to fur, and a sickling crack filled her ears. One rib down. Now for the rest. Celestia gasped for air, focused onto the magic into her torso, healing and strengthening the shield around it. However, the glow faded from the rest of her body. Chrysalis still continued her attack and raised her sword in preparation for a vicious blow. In return, Celestia angled her hand, and it turned bright red rather than golden. A titanic spear erupted out of her palm and collided with Chrysalis' face, tearing off most of her human disguise. Howling in pain, Chrysalis elicited her blitz on Celestia. They landed down on the ice and squared off with each other. Celestia's right hand glimmered and her sword appeared in it. At the same time, Chrysalis kept her grip on the blade, while the other hand went to her disfigured face. Gasps for air escaped out of both their mouths. Chrysalis huffed, face slowly reformed. Feeling a little winded, Celestia. You are in no position to talk, Celestia said between breaths. Not quite easy to use your magic here, is it? On the contrary. Green fangs raced over Chrysalis' muscle, reinforced it to a nose and pale skin. It's easier than ever. You keep those stupid ponies so docile, you don't know their real emotion. Here, all the feelings here run deep. This is a war. I don't expect love in high quantities here, Celestia replied. Chrysalis let out a wave of cackles. Why do you think my hive's in the Badlands? Do you know how rich love is when a creature is so close to death that the sight of a loved one makes them a feast? This is war. This world has these human things fighting to the death for a single other human. Oh, those putrid emotions that leave a bad taste in my mouth. But love is the core of almost all of it. The whole of Equestria couldn't equal this. Here I thought you were foul enough stealing romance, but now you profit off of war? Celestia slashed her sword in front of her, sending off a wave of huge sparks. Few beings have disgusted me as much as you. Go on, preaching. Crystal spat. It's... Crystal's face frowned as he clamped a hand around her stomach. Parts of her disguise flickered as he coughed. What? Pops! He screamed, followed by multiple other pirates scaling the earth or the same thing. Crystal snapped her head to the execution platform, dead to the Moby Dick. Her eyes widened as a massive sword jutted straight through Whitebeard's chest. Its hilt rested in the hands of one of the pirates her drones tried to drain. No, Crystal screamed. He's spoiling food! The rest of the complaint was silenced by a flurry of blows from the pommel of Celestia's weapon, a mix of hose and fists. The attack slowly stripped away Project Chrysalis' unstable form. His back and forelegs, with only part of her face and torso still looking human. Celestia whipped the flat of her blade down and sent Chrysalis' sword skittering over the ice. Breathing deeply, Celestia recoiled against her barrier, while her hands started to glow a pinkish hue. She raised up her sword, but a pair of fangs stuck into her right arm, followed by another pair sinking into her left. Two more chains slid out of consciousness and bit her legs. Finally, a fifth dive bombed her chest, and all five pushed with all their strength to carry her off. Chrysalis clenched her teeth and managed to summon her weapon back to her side. She tried to take a step forward, but her left foreleg's exoskeleton gave a sharp crack. Fingers strained up a bit, while a bite of vigor dripped from the wounds. Familiar buzzing alerted her to three more drones landing at her side. One stepped forward about his head. Your Highness, forgive us. We tried to get here as fast as possible. Good, good. Chrysalis sighed out a huff and managed to turn into her hand, strangling the drone's neck. But make sure the killing blow is mine. Yes. Do you require sustenance, Your Highness? Another drone asked, while Chrysalis unclenched her hand and reconstructed a human form. His horn glowed, and a small glowing pink ball materialized out of it. Picking it up, Chrysalis analyzed the wisp of other colors swirling around the edges of the spear, and frowned at the dark red and yellow hues. As he glanced up and saw Whitebeard, and now brought Squirt onto an embrace inside. I don't know what madness took that foe, but he costs us energy and time. She scarfed down the energy, but upon finishing it, realized its shadow had fallen upon her in drones. Looming over them was a massive figure, with his eyes hidden behind thick glasses. Target identified as Changeling Queen. Chrysalis. Target marked for immediate execution. I was still hungry. Chrysalis flew up a blur and stuck her teeth into Kuma's left shoulder. Her fangs only managed to poke through his black and white shirt. She ducked back an instant before Kuma's hand came down. Why can't I feel anything? Chrysalis roared. What mockery is this? Target identified as Changeling Queen. Chrysalis. Kuma repeated, except the creature in front of Chrysalis wasn't talking. The voice instead was from her left, right, and behind. She spun out and screamed with three more Kumas. She hissed at them, and their drones did the same as the Kumas advanced on them. You know what I'm ticked off right now? It's not the fight. The fight between Celestia and Chrysalis has been fantastic. It's great. It's utterly brilliant. It's well done. The sword fighting and all that, it is wonderful. I'm more pissed that Discord got the story end of the stick. He got the short end of the stick hard. You know, author, if you hated Discord that much, then why put him in at all? It's obvious you didn't like him. That's the only reason for the Luffy pounding. You obviously didn't like Discord, so you just decided to give all the cool scenes to Chrysalis. Celestia attempted to move her limbs, but the changelings had wrapped their entire bodies around them. Restrained, she slowly felt herself getting colder, and eyelids getting heavier. She realized they were carrying her high above the battlefield, and felt the rust as they flung her back down. Ice shattered under her as he let out a gasp. Yet the changelings hadn't let go. The world was growing darker and darker. Darn. Celestia heaved, her eyes closed and breathing ceased. Changelings all clenched their jaws and were buzzing in their wings, but they were thrown back by a massive blast. The changelings stumbled up from the ice, heads pounding, and a feeling akin to a live wire running through their exoskeletons. Celestia glided out to sea, surrounded in a blinding fuchsia aura that flared up around her. Her form blurred, and Ainsley's all felt burned far harsher than anything the flame could produce. Collapsed to the ground with glowing pink dents stretched across their barrels. Celestia's aura dimmed slightly, but still pulsated around her. I'll have to thank Shiny and Cadence when I return. Plan. I just realized that by doing this, I've probably done more chapters than, say, anybody who's ever done Griffin to Griffin or Echo the Diamond Dog. Has anybody ever done a live read of Echo the Diamond Dog? If they did, I'm sorry for you. That thing is long. A tremor ran through the ice and up Celestia's legs. Now familiar with the shaking, she spread her wings out and launched toward into the sky. Sound exploded all around her, deafening crash and massive checks of the frozen sea shattering around both itself and Marineford's land. A fine diamond dust fell across her skin as she watched the great tsunami walls crumble down around the island. Below, the battlefield splintered, with pieces either smashing together or pulling apart with no regard for the men atop them. In the center of the mass stood a single unfazed spot, the eye of the war's hurricane. A massive figure stood in the area, his back turned to his flagship. Celestia watched Whitebeard from above, knowing that the ice beneath his feet was slowly drinking up his blood. He's not going to sit back anymore. A shiver ran through Celestia's entire frame. Feeling her own labor breath, she gave her wings a flap and retreated back to the stone entrenchments, close to the education scaffold. 4 other figures stood atop the walls, each of them talking in fight, 2 with giddy grins and the other 2 with undeniable lines for lips. This day just keeps getting better. Don Flamingo cackled as Celestia descended. Reaching into the folds of his coat, he produced a changeling carcass that drew at Celestia's feet. I wonder where that came from. Any ideas? Not that I'm willing to share with you, Celestia huffed. They don't seem to be much of a threat. Hawkeye stuttered over to the carcass and kicked it back, staring down at it, curled his lips into a sharp frown. One thought that imitating me would be a grand idea. Shame that that's all it could do. Otherwise, I swore I might have held my interest a little longer. How about that, then? Don Flamingo raised up an arm and gestured towards the battlefield. In the center of the melee, Whitebeard stood in the shadow of the rare individual that actually dwarfed him. His opponent's body was wreathed in marine white color, obscuring what he looked like save for his hands. He clasped a sword almost as tall as he was and raised it high over his head before bringing it down in a deadly swing. Whitebeard met the blow of his Equestria, sending a flurry of sparks as the metal grinding against metal. Blood spilled down his chest and dribbled down his mouth, yet the only thing that shifted was the ice beneath him. Breaking under the pressure from the 2 weapons, it cracked further when Whitebeard whipped his Basendo around, knocking back his opponent's sword before diving his tip deep into the ice. Hands now free, he shot out his arms across the air itself, slamming it down as though another obstacle on his path to ace. Don Flamingo's grin widened as he twisted his fingers. Time to hold on. Celestia's knees buckled as she only managed to save herself from a fall with a quick levitation spell. Hawkeye went to one knee as part of the seabed rose up behind him and into the sky, only to sink down as quickly as it appeared. Staring with wide eyes, Celestia saw the ocean tilt like it was composed of multiple rings that climbed up and down. Then the rumble returned. Staggering back to her feet, Celestia watched the ice to her left ripple and distort like jelly, followed by earth, stone, and buildings. A quake ravaged its way through the Navy's forces, sending officers of all ranks flying. Surged forward, past the piers and into the plaza, devastating everything in its path. A bang, mightier than the greatest of thunderclaps, resounded through the entire island. Whitebeard's tremor curved around above the execution platform, reducing the structures close by to rubble. Yet the scaffold remained untouched, its freshly constructed wooden iron still even holding a sheen to it. At the foot of the scaffold stood all 3 animals. Celestia marveled at the display for only a moment before a second tumble hit the island. Turning attention back to the bay, iron walls, file turrets, and the stone partition currently stood upon, crested out to sea, scaring the currents brought forth by the war. Celestia! The shout pulled Celestia away from the battlefield and over to the scaffold. Sengoku stared down at her from the top of the structure, arms crossed on his coat, straining against the muscles underneath. A single flap of her wings, Celestia departed from the warlords and over to him. "What the hell is going on?" he yelled. "Straw Hat's appearance was nothing of a stumbling block, but now our men are fighting each other, trying to find those damn monsters of yours! I want information on how to defeat them now!" Celestia clenched her hands and sharpened her eyes. "Changelings are as much of a scourge to me as they are to you. Don't even think that I have any association with them. As for handling them, your own methods should work fine. If there's imitations that you want to deal with, Authorization Hockey is the only option humans have." A chill fell upon Celestia's back. Spinning around revealed that Akashi had descended the scaffold. Behind him, the world turned red under Akainu's magma. Molten fists rained down upon the bay, destroying all that they had touched. A great bonfire that only the dying of a ship could provide rose up, visible even over the new wall. In place of destruction, Celestia's eyes focused on the shimmering figure Akashi had brought up with him. His lips were pulled back into a slight scowl, and his eyes angled with annoyance. Icicles clung to the otherwise organic form, especially around its tail and mane, turning them into abstract art pieces.
Was it one of those bug things? So I thought it might be a hostage or something. Kind of hard to tell today with all the craziness.
Akashi yawned.
Ugh. It had the bad luck of being near a Den Mushi I had to freeze.
Thick. Wendigos feed off of war. They come when there's war and strife between two cultures. Wouldn't it make more sense for, instead of it, being frozen, the creature made out of ice, which makes no sense, wouldn't it make more sense for the Wendigo to go over to Akashi and act like a little puppy dog? I mean, in my own fic, that's what I had the Wendigos do. It made more sense there. Not here. It doesn't make sense here. Fic, you're losing me here. I mean, you never had me, but you're starting to lose me with this idea. Wendigos are more delicate, Celestia said through gritted teeth. Her hand glimmered, the ice surrounding the pony fell away, revealing her blue coat and silver mane. She fell to her side, wrecked by uncontrollable shivers. Crouching down, Celestia drew herself close to the pony. "It's okay. You're safe." "No, safe," the pony stuttered. "Trixie just wants to go home." "Shh." Celestia extended her hands and drove them around Trixie's neck. They sparked for an instant before Trixie's eyes closed and her form went limp. Celestia spun around and leered at Sengoku. Her hand went out and tapped down. "How dare you lock away one of my subjects! I should have—" "Ace!" came a roar from an iron barrier. Standing atop the solid gap of the partition, with only a single leg supporting him, was the great giant before. Thus as all the utensils and the weapons were locked onto him, a jet of water shot high over the wall, calling down like a flexible tube and only resembling an actual element when it splashed to the ground. A single passenger sunk to the bone, breathing heavily. Ace's chains rattled and grew taut. Pulling forward as far as his restraints were allowed, he screamed, "Luffy!" "Straw Hat!" Celestia muttered, turned her head away. Kizaru and Akainu moved over Luffy. Their forms glowed with heat and light. The conclusion was far gone. She didn't need to see the rest. "Can't even stop a single rookie," said Goku spat. He turned his head to the two executioners stationed at Ace's side and gave them a sharp nod. "No more wasting time. Do it!" "No!" Celestia's hand shot up, hands aglow with magic. Blood blazing heat ran to her left arm, burning it deeply and sending parts of it aflame with a green glow. The executioner in front of her took the brunt of the blast, went flying off the scaffold, his chest centering as he crashed into the plaza. At the same time, Akashi found half of himself also falling down the scaffold, ice raining down and bisecting a cut instead of blood. The half that remained standing glanced over to where the rest of his body would have been, was met with a razor-thin blade of sand that extended all the way down to the second executioner and incapacitated him as well. The mass of gathered ranks of soldiers hovered a single black form, its jagged sword scintillating with liquid emerald light. Flipping her grotesque wings, Chrysalis frowned up at the platform. Darn, I missed. Below her, a gritty cyclone whirled around Crocodile, forcing the machines nearby to keep their distance. He glared up at Chrysalis with his cold eyes, but suddenly found his head floating high above his body. Inhaling his cigar, he sighed and splattered to the ground, reduced to sand, and quickly straightened upwards and reformed his head. Nice partner you got there. Doflamingo sneered. See why you're siding with Whitebeard now? Still piecing himself back together, but his mouth fully formed again, Crocodile replied, I'm not taking anyone's side in this, especially the bugs. Oh, so cold. Chrysalis pouted. Her complaint unheard, Crocodile hooked by Doflamingo's arm, sending out her wings. She twisted her lips into a maniacal grin as he zoomed over the scaffold. Raising her blades, he raced towards Celestia, whose arm was back to equine form, still burnt in the spot. Now, let's continue. The two rulers collided, tumbled downwards. Swords clanged, gunshots echoed, and cannonballs ripped in the air once more. All around them, Marines stirred in a brief interlude of iron walls now provided, and raced over to the gap in defense. In the confusion, Chrysalis' arm went out and grasped hold of Celestia's neck. Celestia coughed and a hand shot up to Chrysalis' face, unleashing a fireball to consume her entire head. Yes, he remained unmoving on top of Celestia until the flames cleared away, revealing metallic scales running across her face. Fingers pressed harder into Celestia's neck. It was nice to have a hot meal after expending so much energy on the wretched things, she mused, a scowl briefly crossing her face before her grin returned. Dragons are really so much harder than ponies, especially parsley. Enough! Celestia grunted. Her eyes flared open, revealing irises glowing neon pink. An aura of the same color erupted off of Celestia's body and slanted the Chrysalis, blasting her into a class of marines and pirates, knocking them all to the ground. All of them gave various pain howls at the collision, but only Chrysalis let out a bloody, curling scream. Her body spasmed and twitched, scales flicking off like ass, revealing her black snout underneath. Ichor dropped off her right foreleg for the multiple spots where its carapace was cracked. The rest of her body phased in and out of human and changeling form. My God! How durable is this girl? Swears like she's made out of iron or something! Snapping her neck on a sharp crack, she bore her fangs into a nearby pirate, but instantly moved away and clawed at both her mouth and stomach. No! She screeched, grabbing her injured limb and glaring at Celestia. You shouldn't have that power. Celestia advanced closer to Chrysalis, while the pirates and marines scurried away. The aura spiraled around Celestia and concentrated around her hands. Its light glistened off the slit atop her brow and arms. That's my line, she huffed. You stole from Cadence in shining armor. I axed. And the award for most badass line to start kicking some major ass goes to Princess Celestia. Here you go, hon. Chrysalis scooted her limbs backwards, failing to get away. Celestia launched forward and fell upon her, delivering a swift kick to the center of the chest, reducing its back to a barrel shaped black and green. She careened over the battlefield, the war now a blur of color and sounds. A shimmering fist slanted to her stomach, its glowing spreading outwards, returning more Chrysalis back to her original form. More blows fell upon her, each chipping away more and more at her disguise. No flames rushed over to repair the wounds. Her carapace cracked in multiple areas, turning her and breathing ragged. An uppercut exploded into her chin, referring back to a muzzle that slowly misaligned. Her blow's impact spread while launching further away, tearing out the last of her human costume and causing her crooked horn to jab out her head. What? Of course I'm gonna eat this. This is getting awesome. I gotta watch the show here. This is probably the best fight of the whole thing. The only way it could get better is if suddenly T-Rex shows up. Crossing into the new part of the barrier, Chrysalis's world went black for a second. Yet, The force of the attack blew her backwards, and I kind of missed my spot here. Let's does a tiny curvature to the wall, only noticeable when the sunlight reflected off of it at an angle contrary to the rest of the steel. Sliding down and forming a heap on the ground, Chrysalis tried to get up, ignoring the hollow feeling that scurried through her body. Muddying her mind, slowing her limbs, she managed to get her hose when a shadow fell upon her. "It's over," said Celestia. Okay, I'm starting to think that maybe Chrysalis should have finished that school for the T-1000 Academy for dang near almost unkillable villains. The glow around her intensified, forcing Chrysalis to lower her head. The aura solidified until it was a solid oval around Celestia, its surface vibrating against the air. Chrysalis gritted her teeth and sweat streaked through her mane and down her face. Eyes widening at the sight, a dry laugh escaped from Chrysalis. "Think I haven't noticed? Love takes two ponies, Celestia. You don't have enough energy." "I do," Celestia rasped, the glow continuing to brighten. "At least to end your madness. The blast will cause enough confusion for Fire Fist to escape and finish this war. Whitebeard's already dying. We all get what we want, even if I won't be awake to see it." "No," Chrysalis stuttered. Her hose flailed against the ground, trying to edge away from Celestia. But there was only the wall behind her. You're of great worth to humans, too. The pirates. Yes, the pirates. They'll want your head as a trophy." Celestia unleashed a great sigh at Chrysalis' rant. "If that is how things go, so be it. Things will be rough in Equestria for some time, but ponies will move on. I trust them." The glow finally grew bright, enough that Celestia was lost in silence. Hyperventilating, Chrysalis crawled forward and managed to hug the foot of the barrier, its edge searing the tip of her horn. "Don't!" she pleaded. "Don't again. Not that. Anything but the hunger." The pink light dimmed down, revealing Celestia once more. A gentle whisk curled up into her limbs, while her eyes glowed the same color. Reaching out, she took hold of Chrysalis and hefted her up until the two of them were eye level. The glare was intense as Celestia's irises, forcing Chrysalis to look down. "Then listen closely to what I have to say." Okay, Vic, where was all this back in the previous chapters? Where? Guard's fist drove deep into the fiery feathers covering Marco's cheek. The blow cracked his mystical beak, drawing blood. Tongues of blue flame fled off to him, surrounding himself and Garp in a shower of phoenix plumage. Garp pushed further down into a supernatural blaze, his arms rippling with aged muscles. The two opponents hovered over the great war, immobilized for a brief second. Then Marco was flung backwards towards the rest of the battle, a cacophony of wings, talons, arms, and legs. Crashed down to the ground, cratering, knocking away all those close to him. Garp fell straight down, the stones beneath him shaking as he landed. Crossing his arms, he slammed himself down to the center of the chair at the base of the scaffold.
"No one or thing is getting past me,"
he growled. Top of the scaffold, Goku frowned at Garp.
"You were supposed to stay up here."
Staring down, he didn't notice Trixie's ears twitch at Garp's words. Not yet fully awake, she reflectively moved her lips around, a ray of light entering her mouth and reflected against a shimmering piece of metal. "Princess," she murmured. "Oh, I would like to announce a referendum to the previous chapter. Apparently, there wasn't really a Wendigo. Celestia just insulted Akashi by calling him a Wendigo, by saying Wendigos were more delicate than him. I would like to say that that was not my fault. That was the fault of the writer. If the writer had just said that, or said Celestia said that, and added an addendum to that line, like say Wendigos are more delicate than you, or something like that, then I would have believed it. But the way it was written, it almost sounded like Akashi founded a Wendigo. So I blame the writing and not me. Next chapter. Switch! A few minutes ago on the scaffold. Tracy slowly opened her eyes and blinked, rubbed them. A formless void filled her vision. She flitted her legs at it, trying to find something solid to hold on to. Her hooves managed to connect to a floor, but where it started and walls, and where any began, was lost in the darkness. Standing up on shaking hooves, she twisted left and right, only to be met with more abyss. Gulping, she lit up her horn, covering her body in pale luminescence, but the world was still veiled in black. Hello? She called out. A tiny point of light, far away, popped into existence. It floated closer and closer, growing in size until it was a glimmering spear, larger than Trixie, who was on the floor once more, cowering. It's okay, the spear said before spinning to its left slightly. Dream visitation is harder than it seems. It quickly spun back to Trixie and looked down at her with what Trixie assumed was in front of it. Oh, my little pony. It sighed. I don't know how this happened, but if we both live, you'll have my deepest apologies. Well, according to the previous chapters, Trixie just was running from a monster, got right behind the gates, and then, boop, here she was. Wow, that was kind of a weak explanation. You're telling Trixie? Quickly spun back to sorry. But if we both live, you'll have my deepest apologies. Especially now that I ask you one immense fever. I just want to go home. Tracy sniffled. Listen closely then. There are some handcuffs you must unlock. Do that, and everything else will fall into place. But if I'm getting handcuffs off, doesn't that mean I'm freeing a prisoner? Yard sighed again. Yes, but his freedom will save hundreds, even thousands of lives. And then Trixie will go home? Yes. And Trixie will be rewarded for her deed? You already deserve restitution for the nightmare you've been through. You'll have a royal agreement in that. A royal agreement? Trixie's gleam came to her eyes. Trixie does still require bits, yes. Trixie, don't do it! And a statue. A statue? Not a large one. Maybe a medium-sized one. In gold. Gold? Well, silver if you can afford it. And a little plaque that says, Trixie, great hero of Equestria, far better than Twilight Sparkle. Near, near, near. Near, near, near? Yes. How do you spell that? N-E-E-R, dash, dash, dash is important, dash is important. N-N-E-E-R. Got it. Anything else? Oh, and a parade! And a parade. And Twilight Sparkle's birthday, yes, shall now be registered as a national holiday called Trixie's Awesome Day! My, you're just filled with demands, aren't you? Trixie's gonna mill this for all season worth, princess! She could probably take the handcuffs even without using the key. Be careful not to swallow it, said the orb, its voice flowing into the void. Swallow? Before Trixie could finish, a metallic taste filled her mouth, and something poked the insides of her cheek, shaking away what was left of her dream. Her eyes started to clear, feeling the cold wooden floorboards beneath her. Defend Process Pride! A cry went up. Clutching his placenta for support, Whitebeard dared to look away from the scaffold and the leans of the Marines that still defended it. In front of him lay a desolate pit space torn to shreds by his last attack. Unconscious enemies were strewn about, even though many of their weapons were still embedded in Whitebeard's torso. However, all of their wounds were dwarfed by the smoldering hole in the center of his chest, still hissing with steam, a direct hit by a Kainu. Behind him stood a fraction of his men, many with labored breathing and visible injuries. At the forefront of the line that enclosed Whitebeard's back, Jinbei kept his fists clenched, ready to strike at the Marines that flanked him from all sides. All the other pirates were in similar poses, with weapons raised high and pointed at their enemies. Black shapes darted out of the sky and through the crowd, exoskeletons crashing into many Marines unfortunate enough to be in their path. Changelings filled in the space between Whitebeard's defenders and Marines, showing out their fangs to the lair. A few younger vents at display. These things again, Fist aside, angling his sword at one changeling that dared to look in Whitebeard's direction. Jinbei unclenched the hand and placed it over one to fist us.
They must have been pressed, but they have no choice to save Ace.
Naruto trust him.
No.
Jinbei pulled back his hand and cracked his knuckles.
But I'll make sure that I honor their agreement.
There. Chrysalis heaved, a faint glimmer of green fancy from her horn. I've sent the rest of my hive to defend the old one. Good, Celestia replied, her body enshrouded in a faint glow. Then let's going. I don't want to keep this mirage spell going for longer than I need to. Chrysalis took a small step forward, stopping to take some breath. Shivering, she turned her head to Celestia. Give me something. I can barely walk, let alone fly. There are more than enough marines to take a bite out of. Chrysalis flashed her fangs at Celestia. Your experience will be the death of both of us. Because of you, I can't get anything from them right now. Chrysalis consumed herself in flames, turning Chitlin into deep blue fur. Her horns straightened out, and her wings and mane lost their holes, switching to a hue similar to that of her new coat. Huffy, she looked at Celestia, eyes still a sickly green. Just think about her, she hissed. Or would you prefer to be a student? Celestia frowned at display. Change back before someone sees you. As Chrysalis changed back to her normal form, Celestia closed her eyes. The aura around her went from gold to pink, swirling off of her like vapors. Once at the aura, Chrysalis opened her mouth and took a deep breath. Her reptilian pupils narrowed, while a crack came from a fresh exoskeleton growing over the broken areas of her carapace. A glow soon faded from Celestia, leaving her and Chrysalis staring at each other. Chrysalis shifted her view down to her newly healed leg, fixing it. Grinding her teeth, she marched over Celestia, snoring at her. What kind of joke was that? She asked. You wanted food, didn't you? Celestia paused, looking over to the figure behind Chrysalis. Its massive head was blinded by the vibrant purple afro that mixed the ludicrous amounts of mascara and lipstick smeared across his face. The rest of his body, clad in tight leather, seemed disappointingly small compared to the rest of it. Imposter, Chrysalis growled.
Still in a sour mood, I see.
Ivankov pouted.
And here I was, looking for a relatively safe place to drop him off.
Hefting an arm, Ivankov produced Luffy, dangling in his grass. He flailed his fist against Ivankov's, but he didn't even leave a mark on his skin. Flopping backwards, he gasped for breath, not able to raise his arms up anymore. Let me fight, he said. Fool. Chrysalis tried over, licking her lips. You spent everything but your love. Do I need something to wash down Celestia's bile, though? Ivankov lanked you feet away, Chrysalis' fangs only sinking into air.
I'm here to heal him. Not have you drain what little energy he's got left.
That's another part of our agreement, Celestia said. If you do not want to be directly involved, help Straw Hat. Spraying her wings, Celestia took off and disappeared into the melee. Chrysalis swung her away from where Celestia had been and back to Ivankov. Flashing her face, she lit up her horn. Give him to me.
That little warlord must have hit you pretty hard in the head if you think...
I'll retract some of his energy to healing, if that's what he wants. Yes! Luffy yelled. Ivankov sighed and put down Luffy.
It'll just be a repeat before.
Fools that don't know when to give up are always the tastiest. Chrysalis sank her face into Luffy's arm. A spasm went through his body before he went to live again for a second. All three of them were still as the sounds of war ran around them. Luffy's eyes shot open as Chrysalis unclenched her teeth. Jumping to his feet, he let out a yell that echoed across the plaza. Now, go save your brother. Chrysalis said with a grin. I don't want to keep dinner waiting. A marine and pirate both stared down at the empty hilts in their hands. Their sight drifted down to the two pieces of metal on the ground, each still vibrating from the fall. Both dropped their useless swords and clenched their fists. The marine pulling an uppercut slammed into the pirate's stomach. Letting out a gasp of air, the pirate was still for a moment, before steering the marine and landing a hit to his face, knocking him away. Close call there. The pirate brought a hand to his stomach and flinched. At least I... The pirate collapsed to the ground, mouth open in stupor. All around them, other pirates and marines fell too. Only a few on each side managed to stay their feet. Celestia barreled through the fray, snatching up any nearby pirate and giving them a slap of a glowing hand before dropping him. A nearby Marine, forcing himself over his scabbard, glared at him as he sped away. Damn warlord! She'll knock us all out with that! The rest of his complaint was cut off by an elongated leg crushing to his face. Luffy leapt forward, stepping over the unconscious hordes. His head turned onto the scaffold. To his left, a great figure appeared and rushed forward. His hand extended forward. His hands extended out at Luffy and his mouth opened wide and glowing like white-hot coals. Straw Hat Luffy located. The Pacifica stated as he charged his mouth can, preparing to. A golden horseshoe bucked against the Pacifica's iron skull, deforming it and sending out into a shower of sparks. Black smoke billowed out of its mouth and creaked backwards, falling with a thud. Celestia landed next to the mechanical behemoth, moving her leg back to the human one before it touched the ground. Luffy opened his mouth to say something, but Celestia slashed an arm at him, catapulting him in the air and sending him closer to the execution platform. She turned back, and justice behind a channeled battle axe clasped against her shield. Red and blazing claws stinging against its rattan form. The axe's owner pushed against his weapon, and Celestia forcing the ground beneath her feet. I'll say this again, and I'll say this every time I see that guy. That's a dude? Swear, it looks like a woman. I'm guessing it's because of the man boobs.
What the hell are you doing? The man asked. You let Straw Hat get away, and you destroyed Pacifica. Asshole pirates are causing less damage than you.
I didn't want any of the unconscious Marines to get hurt. Celestia swatted the axe down to the ground, glared at her aggressor. What's wrong with that?
You're the reason why they're unconscious!
Almost there, Luffy said. Ahead, the plaza was filled with fire. Intertwined bodies in the grass of battle, explosions, all wild manner of munitions flew through the air along a few of the combatants. Giants struck up amidst the carnage, their weapons sending pirates every direction. In similar vein, Whitebeard loomed over his opponents, his attacks squashing all in his path. Out of the corner of his eye, Luffy spied yards ahead of him, quickly approaching the scaffold, leveled his bicycle at him.
Men!
He yelled, glancing back at his defenders.
Don't bother with dying old geezer like me. Get to Straw Hat's side. It's 3 days!
Boss! Vista yelled, voicing his companion's concerns. He stared at his captain for a moment, before closing his mouth and darting in Luffy's direction, along with the rest of Whitebeard's crew. Smiling, Whitebeard raised his pistol, pointing at both pirates still surrounding him. Instantly, his buzz at his size.
I'm undefended now.
Like lightning, Whitebeard brought the blade a tip down, carving a trench in the air, then shaking the entire island.
Let's see if any of you can take my head.
Back near the scaffold, Marines swung their blades and shot their guns at Luffy. He flipped and glided through the attacks, countered with some punches and kicks, yet still got hit, adding more injuries to his already substantial amount.
Stop! Straw Hat!
Multiple cries rang out. Darn it! Luffy huffed at the wall of Marines around the scaffold thickened.
Not to worry, Straw Boy.
Came pouncing out of the enemies. Ivan Narkov went to Luffy's side, blinked, and sent out a blast of air, clearing the way for the Marines.
Seems Whitebeard's put his trust in you.
That's right! Came a united call. Bounding through the Marines' ranks, a collection of the pirates went to Luffy's side, smashing their way for Marine were its last lines of defense. Jinbei rushed ahead of the group, standing up next to Luffy and Ivankov. He raised up a thin hand and sent out a rippling shockwave for the other.
We need to find another way to get to that platform,
he yelled. Ivankov's hair whistled, and then Inazuma popped up, arms flying outwards and extending to a mighty pair of scissors. Their edges dug into the ground, leaving precise schisms in it. As he cut, an ethereal blade raced towards the group. Hawkeye standing on the opposite end of the attack, waiting for his strike to land. Instead of piercing flesh, the iron seed collided with a steel edge. Mr. One gritted his teeth under the weight of the attack, but managed to disperse it. Catching his breath, he failed to raise his arms up as Hawkeye sliced him across the chest. Before the master swordsman could advance, however, a golden hook grazed across the hilt of his sword. Crocodile blew smoke in Hawkeye's face. He turned his right arm into sand.
I really hate today,
he said, taking another puff of his cigar. Meanwhile, Inazuma lifted his scissors off the ground, taking off a large tract of land with them. The cut ground wiggled through the air like a massive tongue before bending over, falling straight towards the scaffold, landing right as dead and looking into place. Luffy darted up the new path. Yet, as he reached the middle of it, a shadow fell upon the stone in front of him. Guard crashed to the stone, shaking the entire structure and cracking the area beneath his feet. Muscles barely contained by his uniform, he threw his feet upon the impact stone, blocking Luffy's path. "Move!" Luffy yelled.
I'm not going anywhere, Luffy, Guard bellowed. I've been fighting pirates since before you were born. You want to pass? You have to kill me first, Straw Hat Luffy. That's the path you choose.
Before he could say more, he found Luffy flying at him, far faster than before. Insectoid wings flapped across his back and propelled him into Garp. Laughing even faster, he pushed the two over the edge until they toppled to the ruined path, spiraled into chaos before. As they did, green flames erupted across Luffy's back, revealing black chilling underneath. "Strong words," Chrysalis cackled as he fell, "but you should have just hit me."
No!
Garp roared as Chrysalis sank her face in his shoulder.
Garp!
Sengoku cried out. A glow from the corner of his fist made him spin around. A massive fist of flame crashed into him, sending him tumbling to the edge of the platform, knocking off his cap, revealing a black sapphire underneath. With a star, he raised himself up and glared at the other man on the platform.
Impossible. Where the hell did you get a key?
Flames flickering around him, dancing across his shoulders. Ace flashed Sengoku a smile. "Magic."